Hi everyone, this is Cahill. I am proposing a study of the effect of opting out on expectations and experiences when attempting to return to work for stay-at-home mothers. For introduction, I will be covering opening statement, stigma theory, independent variable, dependent variable, niche, statement of the study, and hypothesis. As you see above, there is a difference in wages, but the difference is most pronounced when children under 18 enter the picture. In fact, income for fathers is a lot higher. To the right, you see that women have become main contributors to the total household earnings. Now, for many women, staying at home is not an option. Life changes like a husband loss of job or a relative illness can require a mother return to work suddenly. Contrary to popular views, only 41% were home to care for children, with the rest of them being ill, disabled, unable to find a job, or in school. Labor force participation of mothers increases greatly when children enter schools. Stigma theory comes from Irving Goffman. Stigmas are motivated by race, ethnicity, physical and mental condition, and behaviors. In society, they are normal and abnormal behaviors. Stigmas are often tools to maintain social order. Goffman was not political and looked for ways to manage stigma, though others have seen the existence of norms and forced conformity as unacceptable. They argue that society needs to accept alternatives. There is a two-way relationship as the stigmatized person's behavior would be affected by experiencing stigma. The study will consider the stigmatization of non-working mothers and the mother's awareness of the prevalence of this in society. Opting out is a decision to leave work to care for children full-time. It is distinct from unemployment and something that women do far more often than men. Many studies have considered time away from work and how it affects job searches. Only varying unemployment reasons and duration indicated that long-term contemporary unemployment sent negative signals to employers. American women especially experienced downward mobility with increasing time away from work. When compared to unemployment, voluntary separation was viewed more negatively than involuntary separation. Much of this may be attributed to our less family-friendly policy in the United States. Weishar conducted 3 large-scale studies of what motherhood and leaving to care for children signals to employers. 1,000 respondents that reviewed resumes viewed opting out applicants as less appealing. Of over 3,000 fictitious applicants, those opting out were less likely to be called back, more so than involuntarily unemployed. These penalties were greatest in competitive job markets, where employers were predisposed to push mothers to the back queues, even applicants that were mothers who were currently employed. The first dependent variable is expectation. Expectation has been studied in varying contexts. Atienza et al. Studied how stress affects optimism and found that parenthood alone does not diminish optimism. The expectation of women in particular were considered by Wong and Hardy when studying retirement expectation. They determined that wealth and social factors greatly determine expectation setting. Much like Wong and Hardy, Ruet and Pushkar identify many factors such as personality, psychological well-being, self-efficacy, and social support that influence expectations. When expectations are not realized, the result can be feelings of betrayal. Additional studies show diminished well-being and increased stigmatization in those lacking a job. Women who stay at home lack rewards and acknowledgement, leading to feelings of inferiority. This is compounded by widespread disadvantages when hoping to improve status. The second dependent variable is experiences. The 3 experiences of women indicate inequity. There is a wage penalty of approximately 7% per child for American women. Most of this penalty is not explained by things like work experience, job demands, and mother-friendly characteristics. Work experiences for women vary greatly and are influenced by things such as the number of children, marital status, and race. This study fills a hole in research to date. Much of what exists deals with women's decision-making of the problem from a sociological or economic standpoint. Treatment at work has been a common theme in papers, while treatment during the application process has barely been explored. What is proposed is a correlational study to determine relationship between duration of time a mother has been away from work after opting out and both her expectation and actual experience when attempting to re-entry into the workforce. There are three hypotheses. Time, since opting out is expected to be negatively correlated with both expectation and experiences. In addition, expectation and experiences are expected to be positively correlated. For the method section, I will be covering participants, materials, and procedures. Participants will be 70 mothers of children under the age of 18. They must be actively looking for work, which means performing activities such as sharing resume, applying for jobs, visiting job boards, dealing with recruiters, and reaching out to their networks. There is no specific subpopulation that we hope to single out. Recruitment will be online and via email. It is hoped that some participants might share the survey with acquaintances to increase participation. As an inducement to participate, a gift card would be raffled off to one participant. The instrument will be completable on most devices. Participants will receive instructions and informed consent, and that there are no foreseeable risks associated with this proposed study. The independent variable is operationalized as time since opting out, which will be provided by participants in years and months. Each dependent variable will be operationalized as a score on a section of a questionnaire. My questionnaire is 35 questions in total. It starts with 8 demographic questions, as I believe these questions strike a balance between what is most important to know about the sample without being too lengthy. This will be followed by 1 questions to assess the independent variable, followed by 10 questions to measure each dependent variable, and is closed out with 6 open-ended questions. The process involves participant clicking on the link to the study. She or he will then read the opening statement and inform consent. Upon agreeing to participate by selecting the Yes button, she will be presented with demographic question first, then the expectations, followed by the experience section, and finally the open-ended question. This is all followed by the debriefing statement. After the debriefing statement, the participant has the option of clicking Submit to save the answer and complete the study. For the plan of analysis, I will be covering research design, statistics, visualization, hypothesis, and expectations. Linear relationships are expected between all variables. As this is a correlational study, I will seek to identify an association between variables, but not a cause and effect relationship. Descriptive statistics will include things like mean, medians, modes, interquartile ranges for all variables. For example, I'll become apparent if certain age groups were underrepresented. This would allow for further analysis by subgroup. Pearson correlation will range between -1 and 1, with numbers in either range further from 0 showing a greater effect. There are assumptions that must be satisfied and will be tested. Visualization will include scatterplots and histogram. Scatterplots will show whether the relationship is linear, if there appear to be outliers, and how strong the relationship appears to be. Histogram will be created for the independent and dependent variable and many of the demographic data points. Finally, open-ended questions will help a great deal with understanding how to interpret the rest of the data. They will provide an understanding of what was missed in the instrument, will improve analysis in the results and discussion section, and provide direction for future research into the matter. Here are the 20 references included in the presentation. And this concludes the presentation. Thank you so much for your time.